let's talk about Stephen A. Smith saying that him and Skip Bayless are no longer friends. They fell out over Shannon Sharpe because he checked him on how the Shannon Sharpe situation went. He called and said that you know, you know, and checked Skip about what he did, let him know he was wrong, held him accountable. And he said, Skip cut ties with him, said basically he stopped talking to him, they stopped being cool. And like I said before, as men, we should be able to hold each other accountable. I know. Check my Detroit channel out, Motor City Sports Talk. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, man. And we was kind of talking about over there on Saturday that they was kind of talking about how women aren't there for men's mental health, and I brought up that men aren't there for men's mental health. Especially when you're younger, or less if you're not married and you outside of a marriage group or relationship group, men are not there for men's mental health. Let's keep it funky. We are not. We laugh and make jokes about what dudes going through, and I remember Farside had a song, and I forget the name of the song, and the guy was basically like, my friends can't help with my problems because they got problems of their own. It might be sheepy keep on passing me by. That might be the song, and that's basically what it is. I remember I had a homie. He had got a girl pregnant or whatever, and he was stressing out, and his hair was falling out. He had to go to the doctor. And then, and the doctor was like, well, your hair falling out from stress because you're stressing over this baby. And we laughed at him. And to this day, I feel pretty bad about laughing at him in this situation or whatever. So yeah, I feel bad about this situation or whatever. So, you know how I go. But yeah, we don't, it's hard to open up to your homies or the other men. Cause like, man, shut the fuck up, stop acting like a little business, and that's pretty much how I go in the community, but in a lot of different communities. But Skip Bayless stopped talking to Stephen A after the Shannon Sharpe drama. And at the end of the day, a lot of times, when dudes feel like you are beneath them, that you can't hold them accountable. Like, dude, you beneath me. How are you gonna try to hold me accountable? How you gonna try to hold me accountable when I put you on? I'm your big homie, little homie. And that's pretty much, what I guarantee you, that's pretty much how Skip took it. Like Stephen A is inferior to him. So Skip Bayless apparently want nothing to do with Stephen A. Smith anymore after Bayless took a personal shot at Shannon Sharpe playing career during the FS1's Undisputed in December 2022, which led Hall of Fame tight end leaving the network last year. Smith called Bayless to express how wrong Bayless was for what he did. As Smith explained on Chris Carter's Fully Loaded podcast, he says Bayless didn't call back, appearing to cut Smith off. He said, to address the elephant in the room, I understand why a lot of people can't stand him, Smith said to Bayless, per awful announcing. He said, I've told Smith to his face, you don't say what you said about Troy Aikman. You don't say call Chris Bosh Spice Bosh, or it's Bosh Spice. You don't come at Carter like that. He's arguing with you about a football point. So what you disagree, you don't have to do that. So he basically said he's held him accountable for his actions, while they was working together, the Boss Spice, the Chris Carter story. And, he's held him accountable, and Skip is arrogant. A lot of people accuse Skip of being a racist. I ain't saying that he is or he ain't. Uh, but But to me, his arrogance kind of screams that might be in that direction. You know, you know, that's what his arrogance might scream like that. So at the end of the day, uh, he like, dude, you ain't got to do this, because you got to remember Chris Carter. If you didn't see the interview with Chris Carter, he basically said that he would come on to First Take and do Stephen A. Smith a favor and they friends, whatever. And then Skip Bayless basically tried to cut in him about his opinion on something, and he had to basically after the show, threaten Skip Bayless. Like like you don't talk to these professional athletes like this. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I don't understand. Where he feel like he can talk to anybody, any type of way, you know what I'm saying? And somebody won't put hands on him or say something to him. He's one of them arrogant individuals who figure that he bigger, I'm bigger than you, or this is my show and you got to come over here and abide by my rules and all that type of stuff. That's what it comes off to me as. That's what it comes off to me as. So at the end of the day, and kind of, Stephen A. like, bro, you got to chill out for one of these dudes put hands on you. And a lot of dudes that they dealing with is you seeing why they picking the Chris Carter to come on the show and let him get started on the show, and why they pick Shannon Sharpe to come on the show, because the wrong guy will do the Chris Everett, the Chris Everett or the Jim Everett, no disrespect, that Jim Everett did to Jim Rome after he kept calling him a female tennis player, Chris Everett. Now you kind of seeing like Skip can't be sitting there, talking to anybody and everybody like that, and he think that his white privilege is going to be enough to protect him, but he going to come across the right one day. And Shannon Sharpe and Chris Bosh and some of the other people, Jalen Rose, some of the other people that he chose to disrespect, they've kept their composure. So you got to credit to a lot of them dudes for keeping their composure. Real talk. Because not everybody can keep their composure. Not everybody can keep their composure. So that's kind of one thing you got to look at, because the people who don't keep their composure, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, like they could have really did some damage to Skip Bayless up there on the TV show, and they really could have did some damage to Skip Bayless. I mean, to the network. But a lot of us, we have families to feed, you know what I'm saying? And we have families to feed, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, we're not going to jeopardize our job. But sometimes, like that bus driver did with that young dude, and he choked the life out of him and beat the life out of damn near out that boy on that New Jersey bus. You know what I'm saying? So you beat the life out of somebody like that. Sometimes you just snap and you lose it. So, at the end of the day, Skip Bayless, he just been fortunate that he ran into a lot of guys who are professional and constant professionals. And that's what Stephen A. Smith trying to like warn him, like, dog, hey man, you doing a little bit too much, homeboy. He said, and I thought he was wrong about the Shannon. I thought what he did to Shannon was flagrantly wrong. And I called him and he never reached back out. So I stopped reaching out. And, he said Smith 68 said he and Bayless 72 spoke once over the last 12, 18 months and in-person meeting. That means they was out and about and, they seen each other. And Skip Bayless basically said, let me say something to him and get him the fuck out my face. And that's why people feel that Skip Bayless is a racist, bro. That's one of the reasons. Like, you feel like I don't have to speak to y'all. I can treat black people the way I want to treat them and blase this, blase that. The arrogance. He said, we don't speak much anymore, said Smith. He got upset over something he thought I said to JJ Redick, and he went on his podcast and attacked me for 45 minutes. And then I flew out to California, approached him face to face, and we resolved that issue. Now, the thing about it is, I will say Corey Holcomb has said this about Skip, he has said this about Stephen A. Smith. He said for the most part that Stephen A. Smith, he will pull up on you. He got security and stuff, but he says Stephen A. then pulled up a couple times about some of the things he said about him. And he said some things about Stephen A. I ain't gonna say they ain't true though, but yeah, he said Stephen A. will pull up on you. He said, I'm never gonna speak against him per se, but our relationship immediately hasn't been the same since that moment. But it doesn't mean I don't love him. It doesn't mean that I wish anything negative upon him, because I don't. He just going in a different direction, and that's what he chose to do, and it's cool. It's not even that. You held him accountable and he ran. And any dude that runs from accountability, they really ain't no man. And he knew he was wrong. So that's what it is. He said Smith and Bayless were stars of ESPN First Take when it was first cold pieces. That's when it was actually pretty good. Bayless left FS1 in 2016 to start Undisputed with Shannon Sharpe. After Sharpe left FS1 last year and joined First Take, Bayless continued the show with rotating guests and panelists, most prominently Keyshawn Johnson. Bayless left the network last month. And, I got to continue to say, man, you called and told him he was wrong. And, if y'all homeboys, you should be able to call and tell your homeboy, yo, bro, that was wrong. Yeah, you was wrong on that one. Yeah, you could have handled that a little bit differently. And you should be able to say that. You should be able to say that. And if, we friends or we peers and I can't tell you when you doing something wrong, when you was out of pocket, then, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, I mean, that's pretty much unfortunate, but, um, hey, let me know what you girls and guys think, man. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. Hit the link tree. You can find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchorcast, Venmo, PayPal. Check out the Patreon. You won't be disappointed with the Patreon. I guarantee you it. But hey, check out the music entertainment playlist. But yeah, Skip Bayless, that's the way. That's what he be on. He feel like he above everybody else, and he been writing these articles and putting work in for how long? Since the 80s, 70s. What he did to Troy Aikman was wrong too. And if you don't know what he did to Troy Aikman, he basically, wrote a book about the Dallas Cowboys and said Troy Aikman was gay. And then, I don't know if it's true or not true, but that's Troy Aikman's business. And when he got hired by Fox, Troy Aikman tried to block him from Fox. And that's why when Troy Aikman got an opportunity with Joe Buck to call the games on ESPN, it's probably one of the reasons he left, other than outside of the money. So, but hey, let me know what you girls and guys think. Peace.